So without further ado, let's move on and let's get into this week's questions. So question number one comes in here from Sally. Hi there, Sally. Thank you for being part of the amazing WiggyWam community and for sending your question in here to us. So Sally asks, why don't more agents collaborate? We're sick and tired of dealing with agents who don't effectively track sales progress or provide updates to people in the chain. This causes all sorts of anxiety and frustration in the process, which we end up shouldering. In one recent transaction, I was actually chasing solicitors further up the chain that had nothing to do with our sale, but we wanted to keep the chain together for our clients. It's really infuriating. We're trying to do the best job we can, but sometimes it feels like we're a lone voice of professionalism in an industry full of those who will cut corners to make a quick buck. Well, thank you for that question there, Sally. I understand completely where you're coming from. This was probably the sales chasing element of estate agency was probably the bit that I liked least about the job, and particularly for the reasons that you outline. I love the bit about going out and talking to vendors or sellers, patting the dog, drinking tea, looking around the lovely property, having that conversation and that sort of sales argument, if you like, to lead them towards instructing us to sell. I love listing the property. I love doing the viewings and all that sort of thing. But the sales chasing was, so frustrating. And I understand your frustration completely. The disconnect I see here, Sally, in the industry, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, is that I don't think the real disconnect with agents especially is that they think that once that sold subject to contract board goes up, that's their job done. And this is something that I've seen over the last 25 years in the industry, how things have changed, is that it was always drilled into me that the property is never sold until you've got to that exchange of contracts. Okay, that's when you could pretty much breathe a sigh of relief that the deal is done. You're in the industry, you don't need me to tell you that, but until you get to that exchange of contracts, there is at least a 1 in 3 chance that that deal will fall through, depending upon where you are in the country, right? So the disconnect that I've seen for a lot of agents is twofold, really. The first is actually the professional role that an estate agent has in selling a property, which has been replaced with put the property online on a portal, for example, and that's our advertising done. And the second is, once that sold subject contract board has gone up, then our job is done, and we can go on to find the next property and find the next buyer, etc., etc. And the real disconnect on that second part is that your pipeline fee is totally at risk until such time as that deal is closed, right? So I get completely where you're coming from an estate agent's point of view. I'm coming at it from a running an estate agency point of view, as in running the business and keeping a close eye on your pipeline and getting that cash in the bank as quickly as possible. But let's not forget the most important part, which is the human element of what you're actually doing here, which is helping people move house, right? And where clients have got a buyer and they've then found the property that they want to move to, there's a lot of emotional turmoil going on for them, right? They know that they want to move. They know that they want to move into this property, get their kids into the school in that area, or enjoy making new friends in one particular area, or get closer to a loved one because their health is suffering and all the rest of it. So you have all of these different things that are going on in people's minds that a lot of people and a lot of agents, because they're immersed in the industry, they kind of forget about, or they become immune to it. So the fact that the client rings up and they're frustrated and they're shouting and screaming down the phone, why haven't we exchanged contracts? What's going on? I need an update, etc., etc. Most agents over time, unfortunately, become immune to that. And as a consequence, unfortunately, it doesn't really help the client that they're ultimately trying to sell the property for, right? So I think it's an interesting point that you raised, Sally, about collaboration, and I see it not just with agents in a chain, but I also see it with agents doing joint ventures, if you like, for selling a property, i.e. Joint agencies or multi-agency listings of selling properties, or agents working where they might have, for example, let's say you're a London agent. I mean, this is always something that's baffled me about why agents don't do this. You're a London agent, you've got access to a lot of people with a lot of money, some of which may want to invest in property. Okay, now buying in London market to rent out may not work, but buying in Burnley's a bad example, but let's say Stoke-on-Trent or Leeds or Glasgow, for example, or South Wales, for example, all of these areas may well work for buy-to-let investments. So I don't understand why agents don't collaborate up and down the country and do deals. You bring me the investor, I'll bring you the deal. We'll pair it up. We'll get paid a fee. Happy days. We've now generated a source of income that was never there to begin with. Do you know what I mean? So that again is something that I don't understand. But also the collaboration element really comes down to everybody that's involved in that transaction, mainly the agents and the solicitors. And I think there's a big disconnect there with a lot of agents and solicitors not working alongside one another, because ultimately they've got the same mutual client who's paying for both of their wages, right? So there should ultimately be a huge collaborative element going on with the work that they do. And it's not happening as much as it perhaps should do. And I think, may I say, Sally, that the one thing I have noticed as well with the rise of more online-only agents, that this sales chasing job has, effectively disappeared. And I'm not saying that for all agents, but it is becoming more prevalent from what I've noticed with the online agents not doing this chasing. So there's a whole bunch of reasons there, which actually stem into why we built WiggyWam in the way that we did, Sally. And if you've not been on the platform recently, I encourage you to go in there, have a look, go to wiggywam.co.uk, check out all of the different tools and the workspaces that we've created in there that are effectively and especially targeted towards a more collaborative approach to selling property. Okay, so I hope it's something that will change in the future. Sally, it's certainly something that we encourage within Estate Agent Secrets for people to collaborate more and to get deals done more, because ultimately, I do believe in that acronym of TEAM, which is together everyone achieves more. And by working as a team, agents, I think, could make so much more money in their business, but that's just me looking at it from an outsider's point of view. And I think if this collaboration element becomes more of a thing between agents and between solicitors, they will cut the time frame of their pipeline fee coming in by about 20% at least, okay, and probably bump up their profitability over a year by probably another 20% as well, okay? So there's big wins to be had for collaborating, but I think, unfortunately, until a lot of people in the industry have enough pain, they're not going to change. And I think it's the same with a lot of people and the human nature. If we don't tend to invest in our health and fitness until we've had a pain point in our life that gives us that wake-up call that says, hang on a minute, I need to do something about this. And it's probably going to come as the market tightens, slows down, interest rates go up, everything calms down a little bit. That will be when the pain points come. And unfortunately, it'll be too late for probably about 20 to 30% of agents in the country. But, we can only do our bit to educate and help. It's up to agents to reach out and grab what they want. Okay, so hope that's helped, Sally. Anything else I can do for you, let me know. Hit me up with an email, happy to help at wiggywam.co.uk, and I'll be glad to answer any more questions that you've got. Fantastic. Thanks for that. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us towards the end of today's webinar. Thank you so much indeed for joining me, as always. If you want to send us in a question for a future webinar, please do so via email. Email address is happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. That's happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. You can also go to our website, which is www.wiggywam.co.uk. That's wiggywam.co.uk. You can access a whole suite of resources there. We've got blogs, we've got forums, we've got broadcasts, videos, training videos, all sorts of things within the website there. Feel free to indulge. You can also find us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @WiggyWam_UK. That's @WiggyWam_UK. You can shoot us your questions via Twitter. Also, we'll be here the same time, same place next week, doing week number 29 of our WiggyWam Get Your Property Questions Answered webinar. It's a super privilege to be able to offer this to you and help and support you in your property journey. If there's anything else that we can do, please do let me know. But for now, I'll say goodbye and good luck and God bless. Thanks ever so much indeed, guys. You take care. Bye-bye.